everybody who's watching, if you got anything from Johnny, check that shit, because that boy be putting that CBD shit in y'all shit. And I've had several clients who come in and they'll be like, bro, why my shit get tested CBD? Well, I don't fucking know shit. Y'all gotta ask Johnny, bro. That's Johnny's fucking, that's Johnny's production.
Listen, because this story is not just about jewelry, not just about diamonds, not just about money. This is about reputation, power, and a name that was built like a kingdom, and then suddenly people started whispering that the kingdom might be built on something nobody expected. We're talking about a man who didn't just sell jewelry. He became the jeweler of hip-hop, the man whose name got shouted in songs, the man whose pieces were flashing in music videos, the man who went from a flea market booth to dealing with the biggest names in the industry, and then out of nowhere, the word fake started floating around his name like smoke that wouldn't go away. And once that word enters the room, once people start questioning diamonds, once people start asking if what you sold was real or not real, everything changes. Because in the jewelry world, reputation is not important, it is everything. Lose that and you lose the empire. Johnny Dang is not just some random jeweler. You have to understand the scale here or none of this makes sense. This is a man who built his name from nothing, literally nothing, fixing watches at a flea market in Houston after moving from Vietnam with almost no money, working with his brother, grinding in a booth while the world walked past him, not knowing that the man behind that tiny counter would one day become the jeweler to rap royalty. And that's how the story starts, but that's not why people are talking. People are talking because when you become that big, when your name becomes the brand, when rappers are buying from you not just for diamonds, but for status, for clout, for the right to say your name, the stakes get higher and the whispers get louder. And the whispers didn't start from nowhere. They started slowly, like they always do. Small comments, small doubts, people looking a little too closely at a pendant, at a grill, at a watch, and saying something doesn't look right. At first it was just internet talk, and internet talk is cheap. But then something happened that made this whole situation different. Chief Keef, yes, Chief Keef himself, felt the need to go test his Johnny Dang jewelry at a mall jewelry store. Think about that for a second, because that one moment tells you everything about how loud the rumors had gotten. This is not a random customer. This is not a guy who bought one small chain. This is a major rapper who spent serious money, and even he felt like he had to prove his diamonds were real. He walked into K Jewelers with his pendant and his watch and ran the diamond tester, and when the tester turned green, that was supposed to end the conversation. Green means real. Case closed. But it didn't end anything. If anything, it made the whole thing bigger, because now the question wasn't just, are the diamonds real? The question became, why did he feel like he had to prove it in the first place? And that question never really went away, because after that, more videos started showing up, not from rappers, from regular people, from YouTubers, from TikTok reviewers, people buying Johnny Dang pieces, running diamond testers over them, filming the results, posting them online. Some passed, some didn't. And every time one didn't, the comments went crazy. People started throwing around words like moissanite, lab grown, overpriced, not what they paid for. And now the situation is getting messy. Because here's the truth that most people don't understand. Lab diamonds are real diamonds, but they're not natural diamonds. And the price difference between those two can be massive. And if someone thinks they paid for natural but got lab grown, that's where the real problem starts. That's where reputations get damaged. That's where lawsuits usually begin. Now, nobody was dragging Johnny Dang into court over this, but the conversation was getting louder and louder. And then something happened that took this from internet gossip to something much more serious. An ex-employee, not a random hater, not a competitor. An ex-employee went on camera and started talking. And when someone who worked inside the business starts talking, people listen differently. Because now it's not outside speculation. Now it's inside information. And that's when this whole story went from rumors to a full-blown industry controversy. And this is where the story stops being just rumors and starts feeling like something bigger. Because when an ex-employee speaks, people don't just hear words, they hear secrets, they hear access. They hear someone who was inside the room when the deals were being made, when the diamonds were being set, when the money was being counted. The man's name was Jose, known as Plug Geo, and he didn't just quietly leave and move on with his life. No, No, he went on camera and basically set the internet on fire, claiming that Johnny Dang was selling fake diamonds to rappers. Not inspired by, not similar to, not overpriced, fake. That word again, fake, the most dangerous word in the jewelry world. And just like that, the story exploded. Because now it wasn't just random diamond tester videos on TikTok. Now it was someone from inside the operation making accusations on record. And whether people believed him or not almost didn't matter, because the damage was already happening in real time. People started connecting dots, bringing up old stories, rewatching old videos, rechecking old jewelry. And when the internet starts investigating you like that, every little thing starts to look like evidence, even if it isn't. But then the story took another twist, and this twist made everything feel even more personal. Because Plug Geo didn't just accuse Johnny Dang and disappear. He started building his own name in the jewelry world. He started working with rappers. And then one moment happened that felt less like business and more like a public statement. Sauce Walker revealed $1 million permanent grill. And who did he get it from? Plug Geo, the same former employee who accused Johnny Dang. And not only that, Sauce Walker said on camera that he was taking out his Johnny Dang grills and replacing them with Geos. That wasn't just a purchase. That was a message. That was a public switch. That was a moment that made everyone in the industry look at this situation again and think, wait, this is deeper than people thought. And when Johnny Dang responded, he didn't scream, he didn't panic, he didn't go on a rant. He said something very calm, very controlled, but very telling. He said you can shop anywhere you want, but if you say my name, put respect on it. That's not the response of someone small. That's the response of someone who knows his name still holds weight, even in the middle of controversy. But just when you think the story couldn't get more tense, another voice entered the conversation, and this voice carried serious weight in the rap industry, Lil Durk. And Lil Durk didn't name names, but he didn't have to. He went on Instagram and warned rappers to stop buying jewelry without understanding what they were buying. He said a lot of the jewelry is fake or overpriced, and that rappers are going to be mad when the truth finally comes out. And then he said something that really changed how people looked at the whole industry. He said stop blaming rappers for wearing fake jewelry and start blaming the jewelers selling it to them. That statement hit like a bomb, because now the conversation wasn't about one jeweler anymore. Now it was about the entire industry. Now it was about how many rappers might be walking around with jewelry they thought was worth hundreds of thousands that might not be worth that at all. And suddenly, Johnny Dang wasn't just defending himself anymore. He was standing in the middle of a much bigger conversation about the entire rap jewelry business. And in the middle of all this noise, all these accusations, all these videos, all these warnings, Johnny Dang did something very smart. He didn't disappear. He didn't hide. He started posting his own diamond testing videos. He started showing stones, showing the process, talking about lab diamonds versus natural diamonds, explaining things publicly, controlling the narrative instead of letting the internet control it for him. That is not a small move. That is a calculated move. Because in a situation like this, silence looks like guilt, but visibility looks like confidence. And whether you believe him or not, that move kept his name strong in the middle of a storm that could have destroyed a smaller brand. Because here's the part that makes this whole story feel almost unreal. After all the accusations, after the ex-employee videos, after the diamond tester drama, after rappers publicly questioning jewelers, after all of that, rappers are still going to Johnny Dang, still buying, still getting grills, still putting his name in songs. The business didn't collapse, the shop didn't close, the line didn't disappear. And that is the part of this story that makes people really think. Because in most industries, rumors like this destroy you. But in this industry, reputation is not just built on accusations or internet videos. It's built on relationships, loyalty, and years of doing business with the same people. Johnny Dang built those relationships for decades, and when the smoke came, those relationships didn't disappear. So now the story just sits there, unresolved, like a question that nobody has fully answered. Were the accusations true? Were they exaggerated? Was this a disgruntled employee trying to damage a former boss? Was this competitors trying to take a throne? Was this just the ugly side of $1 million industry where nobody really knows what anything is worth except the person selling it? The truth is, in the jewelry world, perception is reality. If people believe your diamonds are real, they are real in the culture. If people believe your name is solid, your name is solid. And right now, Johnny Dang's name is still solid enough that the biggest artists in the world are still walking into into his shop and sitting in that chair. And maybe that's the real mystery here. Not whether one diamond tester turned green or red. Not whether one employee told the truth or lied. The real mystery is how a man can go through this level of public accusation and still stand in the exact same place he stood before, behind the counter, in Houston, with the same name on the wall, and the same people still walking through the door. And that is why this story doesn't feel finished. It feels like something that is still unfolding, still being whispered about, still being questioned, and maybe one day someone will finally prove everything one way or the other. But until that day comes, the rumors stay alive, the name stays powerful, and the mystery never really goes away.